Hello everybody, this is your motor vlogger Rinku Matthew, and I'm going to do a 1-year ownership review of my bike, the Royal Enfield Thunderbird 350 today. So 1 year back when I decided to change my bike and move into the Royal Enfield family, my choice was the classic 350. So I went to the Royal Enfield showroom, and to my surprise the manager over there was one of my seniors. So I had a good talk with him, a 15 to 20 minutes talk with him. So after this very long conversation that I had with the manager there, I finally ended up in a decision where I decided to buy this particular bike, which initially was not even there on my list. Because the requirements that I had told him was, yes, city commuting was there, of course, commuting is there for everyone, every person who owns a bike. But at the same time, I wanted to do a lot of long distance trips. So he gave me a lot of pros and cons of the classic variant. He gave me a lot of pros and cons of the normal standard variant. But he kept on insisting me that if my requirements were touring, this was the particular bike to get. So taking his word seriously, I had a good discussion with my father, and then finally ended up getting the Thunderbird 350. Talking about modifications done to the bike, the major modification that I have done is getting this particular LED floodlights installed on them. These are really helpful when you are on highways, particularly dark highways, on very long trips at nights. And then I've got this particular mobile holder cum charger. It has a charging port over here that you see installed on the bike. So I had another mobile holder which was plugged onto the handlebar. Then this thing, I found it to be very nice and very, it fixes in very nicely, and the holes or the grips are also very firm. So I installed this a few months back then. So these are the only two modifications I have done to the bike so far. Now coming to where all I've taken this particular bike on trips, I've done many trips, many long distance trips. So the maximum kilometers that I've traveled in one single day is 750 kilometers. So that is basically from Trivandrum to Bangalore. I've done the trip like 4 to 5 times, and then I also did an all Kerala trip in 5 days where I covered around 3,000 kilometers. Then I've gone to Hampi, Goa, gone to Pondicherry, Chennai. So I've covered almost all of the South India on the bike in this 1 year. So seeing all my trips, most of my trips have been highway rides. Most of the parts of the trip have been through highways. So this particular bike has been awesome. To be frank, it has been awesome to drive on the highways. The seating position is perfect for highway drive, highway cruising. You don't feel the pain in the back. As I told you, I've done almost 750 kilometers the maximum, and no pain at all in the back. It's perfect. Perfect for highway cruising. At the same time, I've done a bit of off-roading on the bike, and to be frank, that is one area where I think the Thunderbird does not score that much. It is not meant for off-roading, because I went to Rosemela in Kerala itself, so that is a perfect off-roading track, and I did not find this bike very much appealing in that particular department, that is the off-riding department. So basically, to be honest, this is for highway cruising. This is a highway cruiser meant for very long trips on normal roads. That's it. So in about a year, I have traveled a total distance of around 22,000 kilometers as of now, and I've completed all the free services, and I've moved into the paid servicing category as of now. So I do regular services at 3,000 kilometers. Every 3,000 kilometers I do the service, and I do engine oil changes at 5,000 kilometers, and other than that, I do chain loops at every 1,000 kilometers. Then the other minor things that I've changed in the bike include the brake pads. I guess the brake pads were changed twice during the services that I had done in these 2 years, and clutch cable, accelerator cable, those all things has not been replaced yet first, but I keep a spare accelerator cable, a spare clutch cable, and a few fuses whenever I go on trips. In the maintenance part, another problem that I faced was the electrical section of the bike, because I had the fuse tripping off again and again once. That was like 6 months back, so I had to give it to the Royal Enfield showroom. They had to check the whole wiring and find out the reason for that. So that is just one glitch that I experienced in the electrical section. Nothing more on the maintenance part. The pros of the bike that I have noticed so far is, of course, the seating position. The seating position with the bucket-shaped seats are perfectly upright, and the high handlebar also promotes the very good seating position of the bike. So that is one major positive with this. This particular positive helps you a lot when you are on highways and when you are cruising on long distance travels, by giving you a perfect position to sit and thereby reducing strain on your body. But there is certainly one con that I will have to mention about this particular bike, and that is the tubed wheels or the tube tires. Because when you have tubeless tires, whenever you get a flat tire or a puncture, it is very easy to repair, because when you are on a trip, you can carry your own puncture kit and repair it yourself. But these tube tires give you massive headaches, especially when you are at nights. The fear of a flat tire is so much that you actually don't travel at nights. You usually keep track of where all the tire puncture repair shops are. So this was one thing I think Royal Enfield could have taken a bit of consideration into, because this bike is meant for tripping, this bike is meant for long distance travel. So having flat tires in wheels that carry a tube is a real headache, because there is no proper solution, or there is no proper puncture repair that you yourself can do to a tube tire. So now one more negative that I can point out here is that, as you know, the Royal Enfield Thunderbird 350 variant and the 500 variant, of course, it comes with a rare disc brakes. So the same headache that I mentioned already, if you have a flat tire and you go to a normal puncture repair shop, they have a hellish time actually fitting back this particular disc brake assembly once they have disassembled the wheel. So I had flat tire problems 2 times. Both of the times I was in a normal repair shop, and they had a very hard time fitting this particular assembly back, the disc assembly back onto proper position. So that is also one negative I have found out with this bike, or I've experienced with this bike. Okay, now I would like to talk about how this particular bike has been performing on the roads. So as I already mentioned to all of you, I have been doing a lot of highway rides. When you're considering performance, when you're on the city and you want to make overtaking maneuvers and all, this has enough of power and torque in it to help you make overtaking maneuvers. But when you come on long rides on highways where you don't have any vehicles in front of you, and when you feel like you want to throttle up a little more, there lies the key, because this bike travels smoothly at a cruising speed of around 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. Yes, of course, you can hit speeds of around 110, 115, but that is by totally throttling up the bike to its extreme conditions. Because once you go above the 90 kilometers per hour mark, you can feel the vibrations. It's not that much, because this bike already has a sort of vibration inbuilt to it, all the bullets have.
but you can really start feeling the strain the bike is going through once you hit the 100 mark or something. So to be frank, the perfect cruising speed of this bike is around 80 to 90 kilometers per hour, and it is during that period on long highways that you feel that whether you should have gone for the 500cc variant, not just by sticking to the 350cc variant. But still, talking on that, when you consider the mileage figures of both the bikes, you can come to the conclusion that yes, the 350 variant is much more. The 350 variant is much more economical, and that helps you a lot. And that helps you a lot when you're doing long distance travel, because you would be traveling on budget, so you would want your bike to return good mileage figures to you. So if you are a sort of a comfortable rider, that is, you don't want very high speeds and you don't want you don't want very risky overtaking maneuvers, this bike is totally perfect for you. Now coming to the handling part, I changed the Royal Enfield family from the Yamaha family where I was riding an R15 version 2.0. So handling, when you compare it with other bikes, it's not appropriate, because this is a bike which has a larger base, and of course it has a larger weight too. So handling when you're comparing it with the other Royal Enfield family, it's par. At speeds that you normally go on a Royal Enfield, that is more than what you need from the handling part. Now one more thing I like about this particular bike is the horn, that the default horn that it comes with. As you can see, it's really loud. It makes you notice, and that is something that you need in cities, actually, in very crowded cities. So all in all, in the riding and the handling part, this bike scores above average, and it goes in par with the other variants. I'm not comparing it with the Himalayan, the Royal Enfield Himalayan that was just right now. It has exceptional off-roading capabilities, but when you're considering the normal roads, this is in par with the classic, the Royal Enfield Classic variant.
So guys, to sum up the review, if you would ask me in 1 year of my ownership with this bike how much satisfied I am, I would tell you that I am 100% satisfied. But it also depends on your outlook, because Royal Enfield is that kind of a category of a bike that is fit for persons who love traveling, making trips. It's not for persons who like to ride aggressively in cities. I was that kind of a person, because I owned a Pulsar 220, which was my first bike. Then I moved on to the Yamaha R15 version 2, and suddenly I changed my outlook towards bike, and that is how I ended up in this Royal Enfield family. So if you are that kind of a guy, this is one particular bike which would never disappoint you. It has not disappointed me in the last 1 year. Going good trips, in fact great trips with the bike, and I hope to have much better trips in the coming years. So if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for further videos. So till we meet next time, bye.